Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, 3rd of March, 2020, or so they want us to believe. All right, we're going to eliminate the rabbly, gravelly voice of your humble messenger.
Netanyahu aide in leaked recording, hate is what unites our camp. This is actual recording, Doc, of one of Netanyahu's campaign associates saying in a private meeting that what unites the Likud voters is hate.
Oh, did you see the specific wording? Negative campaigning works well with non-Ashkenazi voters.
Wow.
I mean, he said this.
They're talking about Jews.
Yes.
They're non-Ashkenazi Jews that they use hate. All right, so Netanyahu is a proponent of hate speech in Israel. And yet they direct in the United States the propaganda accusing Americans of hate speech. They're in control of it.
Rick, are we allowed to read that headline? Is that hate speech?
That would make us hateful if we read a Jewish newspaper headline. I could get kicked off of YouTube. Oh, I've been kicked off of YouTube. All right. No, we're not allowed to read the Jewish newspapers and connect the dots and tell people what they really believe, what they really say, because that will get you banned. So we have in black and white the Times of Israel, a Jewish newspaper, reporting that Netanyahu, that his campaign buddy, said in a private meeting, what's driving our election, our victory, is our ability to make people hate. That's a fact. It's a recording.
And isn't that the policy of influence here in America as well, Rick?
Yes.
That we get us to hate one another?
Yes.
And to say whatever we say is hate speech?
Yes. They've divided America. The Zionists have divided America. They've poisoned the minds of the American people. They've pitted Americans against each other, and they control through that division. And if you point out what they're doing, they accuse you of hate speech.
Same thing. That's right. They accuse you of what they do.
Yes. That is their tactic. Whatever they're doing, they accuse you of doing it. And it covers up their crimes. Edward, let's talk about some of the speeches that were given in AIPAC today. Where do you want to start?
I think we'll start with the president of AIPAC herself, Betsy Burns. Now, Betsy Burns-Korn promises to defeat those who stand against Israel. And
defeat who?
Defeat those who, I'm talking about politicians, activists,
in what country?
In press in America.
Oh, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the president said today, we will defeat in America anybody who criticizes Israel.
Yeah, I mean, Betsy's mother should have called her Betsy Burns the Constitution instead of Betsy Burns-Korns, because if you look at this, she's talking about literally eliminating the First Amendment, eliminating the ability for you and I, and let's say even politicians themselves, to make decisions based on the interests of America. Because if it is to conflict with the benefit to Israel, not only will she campaign against you, she will fund your opposition in either party to beat you.
All right, this is the president of AIPAC making this vow today. Watch this.
I pledge that everything I will ask of you while I am AIPAC president, I will ask of myself. I pledge to increase my support for pro-Israel politics. One of the most effective ways to impact American support for Israel is to ensure our friends in Congress and our friends running for office have the financial support of the pro-Israel community. That means proudly and confidently contributing to those who stand with us. Our friends in Congress, Democrats and Republicans, must know that members of the pro-Israel community will help them. And those who stand against the U.S.-Israel relationship must know the pro-Israel community will work to defeat them.
Or deplatform you.
Or both. Or worse.
Or worse.
You think about it, you just read stories about a real threat against Israel. There could actually be Israelis who succumb to coronavirus. You think if they are going to meet, first of all, that's a horrible idea right now. It's against actually even the CDC advisement to gather together en masse. But if they are going to meet, shouldn't they discuss real threats? Threats against the lives of Israelis, Jews alike? No, instead it's against those who are using speech she doesn't like, who are talking, saying words that they don't want spoken.
Look, all of the opposition against True News, every force in this country and Israel, all right, that's attempting to destroy True News, it is all Zionists. Every bit of it. All of it. It's being directed out of Israel, all right? That is a foreign country interfering in the United States of America, a foreign government and foreign powers in Israel stripping me, Rick Wiles, of my constitutional rights to express my views, say what I want to say, my freedom of speech, just all of my rights as an American. They are being attacked by a foreign government. And the sad thing is, the people in Washington that we've put into power are for them.
Right.
I don't have any
advocate.
I don't have anybody to defend me other than Jesus Christ, and I don't need anybody else other than Jesus Christ. But to think that I could go to Washington and get somebody to defend my rights? No. They'll defend Israel over an American. We've lost the country. It's gone. It's lost. It's over. They have your soldiers drinking snake blood. That's how demonic this country has become. It's over. We're not a God-fearing nation anymore. We're not even a sinful nation anymore. We're a wicked nation. We've become wicked, satanic, evil. Where did it happen? Where did it start? How did Satan get a foothold in America? Well, listen, we'll keep showing you some more stuff. This is the power. You want to see the power that runs America right now? We're showing it. It's AIPAC. They represent the power. That's just not them. They represent the power. All right. So your Vice President, Mike Pence, went there as expected and said what they expected to hear from the White House. Here's Vice President Mike Pence.
So like all of you, we've stood with our most cherished ally as never before. We've stood up to Iran. But now, my friends, we've reached a fateful moment in our history. All over the world, anti-Semitism is on the rise. On college campuses, in the marketplace, even in the halls of Congress. Anti-Semitism is a unique hatred, uniquely potent, persistent, uniquely responsible for unconscionable acts of violence. Which is why we must root anti-Semitism out from every part of our society. It is not just a threat to Jewish Americans and Jews around the world, it is a threat to us all. But like the vile ideology that it is, anti-Semitism has changed forms in recent days. No longer does it give vent to hatred of the Jewish religion or hatred of the Jewish people on every occasion. Now it often propagates as simply hatred of the state of Israel. So let me be clear about one point. It is the position of the United States government that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Our president, the proud grandfather of 3 beautiful Jewish grandchildren, made what may have been the strongest single statement against anti-Semitism ever uttered by an American president. When moments after the horrific massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, he said that America would seek the destruction of those who seek the destruction of the Jews.
Well, you just heard it. The Vice President of the United States just said, if you criticize Zionism, you are at odds with the United States government. It is the policy of the United States government to classify criticism of Zionism, which is a political movement, an atheistic, racist political movement. He said if you criticize that movement, you are at odds with the official policy of the United States government. That's the Vice President telling me as an American citizen, I also have to worry about Washington. I have no help, no support in Washington. Washington is owned by the Zionists. And Mike Pence was there to lick their boots. Very sad. Very sad. Doc, what's your reaction hearing Mr. Pence?
Okay, people, just a quick clarification. What's all this snake blood, snake poison about? 4,500 U.S. Marines completed their survival training in Thailand, and they went through the Cobra blood drinking ritual. Yeah, how cool is that? You cut the head off a cobra, and then you drip the blood on your tongue. Probably shout out Semper Fi, do or die. Got stuff to do, but I'll bet you I know one person. I know one person who loved that speech. You bet. The Murray. You guys have a good one. Like I said, I got stuff to do.